answer your burning business questions and inform you on best practices. Tune in to the Startup Hour every Tuesday from 9 a.m. Startup Hour in association with Power FM.
A very good morning indeed. My name is Patrick Chifwambwa. Today on the Startup Hour, we discuss Zambia's healthcare opportunity with Kim Otteby, founder of Umoyo Natural Health Center. Kim Otteby holds a master's in economics and management from Oxford University and a bachelor's science in natural medicine. She also holds numerous diplomas within the fields of natural medicine, including colon hydrotherapy, iridology, if I pronounce that right, bioresonance, live food, etc. Initially working as a strategy consultant in London, Kim quickly realized that her passion was health. After retraining formally and years of working under some of the best natural health practitioners and institutions in the world, she came back to Zambia and set up Umoyo Natural Health, which currently operates several retail health shops in Zambia. Umoyo offers a wide range of therapies as well as in-depth professional health and detox programs. The focus is on producing a genuine and significant improvement in health rather than treating the symptoms of disease. Umoyo Natural Health offers a series of in-depth 7-day professional programs to restore your body to its natural state of balance, vitality, and optimum health, while simultaneously cleansing it from accumulated toxins and waste. Umoyo Natural Health operates a number of health shops that stock a wide range of quality supplements and health foods. Since opening in 2007, this health institution has been dedicated to helping people achieve optimum health and well-being on all levels. It now has 7 branches across Zambia. Umoyo Natural Health is licensed under the Medical Council of Zambia and is an accredited health service provider for several insurance companies. We'll start off with a quote that goes as follows. He who has health has hope. He who has hope has everything. That's an Arab proverb. Kim, good morning to you.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure to have you on the Startup Hour today. We appreciate you taking time to share your journey with us and discuss many issues, including entrepreneurship and business in Zambia and Africa at large.
Great to be here. Thank you.
We're joined by my co-host, Mwapit Saka Jr. Good morning to you.
Super excited. Another one that has been a long time in the making.
How long in the making?
Almost like 6 months.
Is
or
it?
More.
We'll get right into the thick of things. Were your parents or any family member entrepreneurs?
Well, my grandfather on my father's side, he was an amazing entrepreneur. He's actually the one who came up, he was a genius. He came up with attaching industrial diamonds to circular saws so that you could cut really hard materials. So his entrepreneurship obviously rubbed off on my father. I was very young when he passed away, but I'm sure it has rubbed off on me as well. Although when I was young, I certainly had no ambition to become an entrepreneur. I always thought I'd end up working in some big corporation somewhere.
What changed? At what point did you figure out that no, you were not going the route of working for some big firm or whatnot?
I think I became an entrepreneur out of necessity, to be honest, because I came back to Zambia. I grew up in Zambia. I came here when I was 3 years old originally. And I had figured out by that point that I really wanted to work with natural health. But there was no institution here in Zambia dealing with natural health. So if there had been, I would join that institution for sure. But there wasn't any. So I had a choice, well, either I leave Zambia and find another country where I can work with this, or I set up something myself, do something myself. And that's what I ended up doing. So entrepreneurship out of necessity, I think.
Awesome. Was it something, was natural health a natural direction? Or did you figure at some point that maybe you needed to study medicine in general?
Well, I was interested in nutrition, and that was particularly my interest, how nutrition affected the body and how we can use nutrition to overcome chronic illnesses. So that was my core interest. But then, obviously, I've expanded on that to include a broader sense of natural health and natural medicine. So that is my interest. Whereas, you see, with natural medicine, we look at what's going on in the body and what are the underlying causes of what's going on, and we try and target that, especially with regards to chronic illnesses, which are caused by diet and lifestyle predominantly, things like diabetes, hypertension. Whereas conventional medicine, they are mainly trying to treat symptoms. So if you go to the doctor, you've got high blood pressure, you'll get a pill to lower that blood pressure, but there's no pill that can cure the underlying cause, because to do that, you got to change your diet, your lifestyle. So that's kind of where we come in. So it's not an either or, it's working together with conventional medicine.
Looking at, you having grown up in Zambia, from the age of 3, and looking at the population growth in general, did you see a particular need for, nutritional medicine?
No, that's not how I came into it, because I was here when I was very young, and then we moved to Uganda, lived there for 15 years, and then I went to Europe for education and university and for work. So when I came back here, I had no idea really what was going on in Zambia within the health sector. So it was more, I came from, this is what I'm passionate about, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to find a way to do it. And when I came back at that time, there was not, like I said, there wasn't really anything going on in natural health. So there was a lot of work we had to put in, also just kind of creating a market, and we did that by writing in the newspaper every single week for years and years. At one point we were doing 3 radio shows a week to get the information out there, to get people excited, and doing health talks wherever possible. So kind of creating and building that market. It's much bigger now, and of course there are several players on the market now.
You switched studies from economics and management to nutritional medicine. Like, what happened? What was that moment that made you go, I don't think this is for me?
Yeah. Well, I completed my economics and management degree, and I worked in London as a strategy consultant after that for a couple of years. But it got to the point where I kind of woke up in the morning with a knot in my stomach and like, I don't want to go to work. Please don't make me go to work. And I realized at that point that this was not something I felt inspired by. But I had no clue what it was I wanted to do. So I just ended up quitting, and I just needed to disappear and disappear and get some distance from what I was doing. So I went off and became a windsurfing instructor. I did that for a few months. And during that time, I had the time and the space to figure out what it was I was interested in. And it was actually really clear to me. It had been something I felt very passionate about my whole life, but I never thought of it as a career. I always thought, natural health, that's a hobby. I can read my health books on the side, but it's not a proper career. And during that time, I basically made a decision that, no, this is what I'm going to dedicate my life to. So I went back, and that's when I went back and did a degree in nutritional medicine.
Yeah. And during that degree, because I've noticed, like, you have a lot of qualifications in regards to nutritional medicine. Did that just come in, like, after this course, I'll do the next one, or was it just natural?
Well, I had such a hunger for knowledge at that time. I just wanted to learn more and more and more. And at university, really, they just teach you the basics, and I realized that. So after university, I decided I want to seek out the best in this field. And I did, and I asked them, can I come and work for you? Can I do an internship? And that's how it started. So I did internships or did various courses that I found interested to try and get as much knowledge as I could. And it was purely because I was so passionate about it. I loved it, and I just wanted to find out more and more and more.
Wow, amazing. And do you think that's a good starting point for any entrepreneur to study and know their business?
Well, for me, it was absolutely essential, because then I took everything that I had learned back with me to Zambia. So when I started the Umoyo Health Clinic, I had that to fall back on. And I knew that the services that we were offering there were on par with the best in the world, because that's what I had been exposed to. So I think from that point of view, it was very important.
I want to go back to the field of natural medicine. Can you run us maybe quickly through some of the fields that you studied? I mentioned a few here, one or two that I couldn't pronounce. Hydrotherapy, what does that entail?
So colon hydrotherapy is about cleaning out your colon or your large intestine, because what happens is a lot of the time we don't go to the toilet as often as we should, and there's a lot of waste that builds up in our colons, and that waste, it festers and gets reabsorbed into the body. We call that auto-intoxication. So it's really important that we make sure that our colons are emptied, are cleaned out regularly. So it's particularly useful for people who suffer from constipation.
And bioresonance?
Bioresonance, it's a very high-tech piece of equipment where you hook the client up to electrodes, and it essentially scans the body and picks up any imbalances, and then it treats those imbalances. So it's not a diagnostic tool as such, it's just a tool to help bring the body back into balance.
How did you come up with the business name? You came back to Zambia, you knew that this is what you were going to do, and obviously you went to, I assume, at some stage to Pakra. How did the name come up?
It's quite a funny story.
They usually
Oh, man. So I knew I wanted to start something within health before I even came back to Zambia. Mm-hmm. And I'd spent a lot of time in Uganda, and their big language is Swahili. And the word for health in Swahili is afya. So I thought, my health, my afya. So that is what I registered at Pakra. And fine, all well, but people had such problems pronouncing it. Are you in the mafia? Is it me afya? People couldn't pronounce it. And then, like a year later, one of my staff members said, you know, if you pronounce that really quickly, it kind of sounds like problems in the local language. I don't know if they were referring to them.
Mafia.
Yeah.
Mafia. Yeah.
And I thought, why haven't you told me this earlier? That's not the business name we need. So I just asked around everyone I could find, kind of, what is the word in Nandi or Bemba, one of the local languages, for health? And nobody could give me a word for health. The closest I got was Umoyo, which is life or good life, you know. So that is what I chose. And also it's a name that both local people as well as expatriates can pronounce without any problems. And now I really love it. Yeah.
Now, Umoyo offers a wide range of therapies. Why did you see the need to have some of these therapies and detox programs?
Well, within naturopathic medicine, which is kind of where I'm coming from, if you want to initiate any change in the body, then you always start with cleaning it out. It's very difficult to heal and to overcome chronic illnesses if the body is full of junk and waste and toxins. So the first step is always to clean out, and it's incredible the results you get if you do a cleanse. So that's kind of what I focused on when I first opened the clinic. Now it's evolved. So now you can walk into one of our stores and buy a home detox kit. We call it Pure Detox. So you just take it home and follow the instructions. There's everything in there for a full-on professional detox, you know, that you do at your own convenience. So it's evolved over time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Moving from Pakra, having registered the business, I presume that you had now, because I see we noted in the introduction that you're registered with the Medical Council of Zambia. Did you have to go through a process to get that licensing in place?
Yeah. And that was for the clinic.
Okay.
That was for the clinic. And actually, the clinic is how we started, because I came into this thinking, this is what I want to do. I want to open a clinic or a retreat type thing. And all well and good, but I soon realized that actually, when we got people on healthier lifestyles, there weren't any really good quality products that I could recommend that were available for people or that I wanted to put my name behind. So I started importing a small range of really high quality nutritional supplements that I felt, if I gave this to someone, it would make a difference to them. And then I realized, wow, this market is actually bigger than I initially assumed. I want to open up a health shop. Mm-hmm. So that's how that started. And we opened up, the first shop was actually at Arcades. But actually, when I came up with the idea, I want to open up a health shop, it was just when they were building the Crossroads Mall. Mm-hmm. So I went there super excited, and I had done this whole proposal and was going to apply for a shop, and I'd chosen the shop I wanted, everything. And I went in there, and the manager said, "Oh, I'm very sorry, Kim, but actually someone beat you to it. There's a health shop opening here in a few weeks' time." Wow. And they had taken the exact shop that I wanted, you know. And I thought, oh, goodness, what now? But instead of letting that kind of defeat me, I looked up who the owner was of this health shop, and I asked him for a job. So I got a part-time job at this health shop, And I convinced him to stock the products that I was importing. So while working part-time in the shop, I was promoting the products that I was importing. I was recruiting people for my cleansing programs at the Umoyo Clinic. Plus, I was learning how to run a shop, what products sold, what products didn't, the controls necessary, and so on. So that was quite an interesting experience for me. Not to give up, and that just shows you got to be flexible,
Yeah. What's interesting though is right after you came to set up the shop, I know you started in a kitchen, right?
Yes.
Please tell us a story.
I started in my mother and father's house. So very small scale, very, very small scale. And it was just through word of mouth. People would come to me for consultations, and then I would create a program for them and make all the smoothies and everything myself. At that point, I was doing everything myself.
Wow. And how did you then get to a point where you were able to delegate? Because I know as entrepreneurs, most of the times you guys are perfectionists. You're like, it has to be a certain way. And how do you then let that process off onto someone else?
Yeah, absolutely. It's tough, when it's kind of your baby and you want it a certain way. Yeah. But as you grow, it's absolutely essential. Otherwise, you can't grow. You can't do everything yourself, and you learn how to delegate. It's just part of the process. But one issue that has been a bit of a problem is that there are no institutions in Zambia that train naturopathic doctors or naturopaths, So I've had to do a lot of internal training with staff to get them up to that level where they can work as therapists as well. So that has been a bit of a challenge. But with regards to delegating, it's a skill that you have to learn very early on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, and with then getting the word out, you said it was mostly through word of mouth. How then did you decide to say, okay, I also need to go onto radio, I also need to start writing articles?
Yeah, I think these things, it kind of just comes to you. What can I do, And I thought, I didn't know anyone in Zambia at that time, at all. And I thought, well, let me see what newspaper I could go to. And I just kind of saw what was being sold on the street. And I thought, oh, that looks okay. I thought, let me take a chance. I walked into the newspaper, said, can I see the editor? And asked him straight out, can I write an article for your newspaper weekly? And he said, sure, Mm-hmm. So you got to put yourself out there as well. And just see. And there are lots of opportunities like that. But you got to also go out and grab them.
Yeah, that's so true. And how did you choose the specific segment of the market that you wanted to service? Because I know that's a big thing for most entrepreneurs. You're really thinking, okay, who's going to buy what I'm putting out?
Yeah. So, like I said, I didn't really come in choosing a big market and kind of looking at what segment within that market, where should I place myself or anything. I came from a purely, this is what I'm passionate about and this is what I'm going to do. There's no real market here. Let's see what we can make of it, And from that, it was, yes, I'm opening the clinic, but then it led me to the health shop. And now that is the predominant part of our business. It's the retail business, So it's been through trial and error. Because there was not really a formal established market, we've kind of have to feel our way through and see what works, what doesn't work, where are the opportunities here. And there's been a very steep learning curve with regards to that.
I want us to take a short break, but Kim, before we do take a break, you've mentioned some interesting phrases, segments of the market, real market and formal market. So obviously when you came on the market, there was the informal part of the market that a lot of people, certain segments of the population do go to that supposedly deal in natural health. I'd want us to talk about that in a moment. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back.
The Startup Hour, giving entrepreneurs education, motivation, and inspiration from successful entrepreneurs from all corners of the country.
Bringing a fresh breeze in your airwaves from Lusaka. This is Power 99.7.
Advertise with us now. Classic Nails Beauty Studio is a beauty, nail and hair salon situated at Northmead Shopping Centre, number 6 Eastside Plaza. We are specialized in all things nail, hair and beauty and offer a range of services including manicure and pedicures, gel, fiberglass, acrylic, stick-on and metallic nails, eyelashes, eyebrow threading, makeup and makeovers. To book an appointment or for more information, call us on 0977 329 333 or 0977 204 405. Classic Nails Beauty Studio. Find us today and find beauty.
A new definition of class is here.
Introducing the Cigar Lounge, home to all connoisseurs of fine cigars, single malt whiskeys, fine wines, cognacs, and cocktails. The Cigar Lounge is also open to bookings for events such as corporate functions, product launches, and private parties. Come and savor this luxurious ambience at Zambia's first ever Cigar Lounge, located at Ibex Hill Hub Shopping Center in Ibex Hill, Lusaka. For further inquiry, contact us on 0976 384 300 or email us on cigarloungezambia@gmail.com. Don't forget to visit and like us on our Facebook page at Cigar Lounge Zambia.
Cigar Lounge is a new definition of class.
Get interactive.
Get interactive with your favorite youth radio station.
Your favorite youth radio station via social media.
Add Power FM Zambia for all of your tweets.
Power FM Zambia for all those Facebook likes and comments.
And for your dose of local and international news,
Visit our website
On powerfmzambia.com.
powerfmzambia.com.
At home, in the car, or at work. Power 99.7, your maximum music station.
The Startup Hour, giving entrepreneurs education, motivation, and inspiration from successful entrepreneurs from all corners of the country.
Welcome back to the Startup Hour. Today on the Startup Hour, we discuss Zambia's healthcare opportunity with Kim Otteby, founder of Umoyo Natural Health Center. Kim Otteby holds a master's in economics and management from Oxford University and a bachelor's in science in natural medicine. She also holds numerous diplomas within the field of natural medicine. Kim quickly realized that her passion was health, and after retraining formally and years of working under some of the best natural health practitioners and institutions in the world, she came back to Zambia and set up Umoyo Natural Health, which currently operates several retail health shops in Zambia. Now, Kim, when you came back to Zambia, one would argue that there were people dealing in natural medicine or natural health from yesteryear. What is the difference between what Umoyo does, and in particular what you studied, and some of the more informal doctors that we have out there?
Oh, yeah, no, there are lots of herbalists in Zambia. I went to there's an organization for herbalists in Zambia, and apparently when I went there, they said they had 33,000 members. So it's a huge, huge segment of the market. It's actually been a great benefit to us because Zambians are used to taking herbal medicine alongside their allopathic medicine. So it's not something new to Zambians at all. But what Umoyo does is that, you know, if you go to a herbalist, you don't really know what you're getting. You know, he puts together different herbs and so on. You don't really know what you're getting there, and there might be some issues with dosages and so on. So from Umoyo, it's products that have gone through manufacturing. Everything's been standardized. You know exactly how much you need to take and so on. But it's not, you know, when people say that we're herbalists, we're not herbalists. Yeah, we sell some herbal products, but we sell so much more than just that. We focus more on nutritional supplements and also health foods, health snacks, teas, these kind of things. So it's much broader. If you go into a Umoyo shop, it's much broader than what you would find simply at a herbalist, because a herbalist just deals with herbal medicines. We do more.
Are the other herbalists and the products they deal with, did you figure out whether they have certain standards that they meet, or that they have certain obligations in meeting those standards within the country?
In Zambia, for the local herbalists, yes. It's difficult to regulate that whole market, of course, you know. So I think at the moment, there's minimal regulation there. For Umoyo, we've teamed up with a herbalist that I came into contact with early on. And actually, when I started, I said to him, why don't you do a course for me so that I can educate myself on what herbs are available here in Zambia? And he did that. So I went for lessons twice a week for 6 weeks with this herbalist, and he's really amazing. You can find some of his products even sold on the shelves of Pick and Pay. So we stock some of his products in the Umoyo shops as well for conditions such as hypertension and diabetes.
All right. Speaking of health and wellness, like, let's just say, for example, over the weekend we had like all these big events happening and people taking all sorts of substances, and then at the end of the day that makes your body acidic, right? How important is it to have a healthy body?
Well, from my perspective, it's everything, because if you don't feel good, you can't fulfill your potential. You can't go out in the world and conquer it and do what it is you want to do, So I think it's very important. And if you don't take care of your body now, it's going to catch up with you. And that's the thing. When we're in our 20s, our 30s, we think we can get away with anything. We can't, It's going to catch up with you at some point. And we see that even here in Zambia now. The amount of chronic illnesses that people suffer from that are diet and lifestyle related, hypertension, diabetes, these are rife now. So it's a real problem even here in Zambia. Before it was just in Europe and US, but now it's all over the world.
And how much of that is attributed to diet and lifestyle?
The vast majority. Sometimes people say, but my mother had this, my grandmother, and so on. And yes, genetics are a factor, but it's a very, very small factor. The majority is what you eat and how you live.
So what should you eat and how should you live?
Well, it's not a simple question. It really depends on what you do and so on. But the main recommendation I would give to people is, try and eat as clean as you can. Try and avoid the processed foods, eat lots of vegetables. And another thing that I see here in Zambia is that we eat plenty of vegetables. There's so much available. All our greens, which is one of the most healthy vegetables. But what do we do with it? We cook it and cook it and cook it and cook it half to death, so that all the vitamins and minerals that were in there have all been destroyed. So cooking less and eating more of our vegetables in a raw form would be highly, highly beneficial for our health.
Amazing. And as an entrepreneur, I know, because it takes a toll on your mind because you're constantly thinking around problems. Yeah, your job is pretty much putting out fires every day. So how does that help you?
Well, I try and eat as healthy as I can. I mean, obviously nobody's perfect,
Yeah, that's true.
And nor do I think you should try and be. It's important to get a balance, but I do pay a lot of attention to what I eat, making sure I don't eat too much sugar, don't drink too much coffee. I hardly take alcohol, and I do a lot of sport. I work out almost every single day, and I do feel when I don't do that, I feel the difference. I feel sluggish, my head feels a bit clogged, so I notice the difference, definitely.
Have you seen, you mentioned a lot of chronic illnesses that are now, seen across the country. Have you seen, has that created, and maybe ironically, has that created a boom in some of the products that you sell?
Definitely, people are much more interested in their health now.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yes. People come in, they want advice, because the problem is as well, our clinics are, doctors don't have a lot of time with each patient. They maybe have 5-10 minutes, and that is not enough time for the doctor to explain what they need to do from a diet and lifestyle point of view to overcome their diabetes or hypertension or arthritis, whatever it is. They mainly have time to prescribe something for the pain or so on. So that's where we come in, because we have the time to spend with people and to make these recommendations. So yes, people come in, they have tons of questions, they're really interested, they want to make a difference in their health. So yeah, it's definitely made a difference.
Is it therefore possible that or is it the situation now whereby you work more often with doctors perhaps on being able to supplement what the doctor has recommended?
Yeah, so at Umoyo, we never diagnose. That's the doctor's domain. And we never tell anyone to stop taking their medication or anything like that. If someone comes in with a chronic illness and they they want to see what else they can do. Usually what we will do is recommend nutritional supplements, which would not interfere with their conventional medicines, but at the same time would help build up their body, build up their energy, and so on like that. So, we don't mess around with medications, not at all.
Yeah. There's like currently a huge boost in Zambia in regards to health and wellness. There's all these jogging clubs, all these fitness clubs. Are we doing enough to take advantage of this opportunity as entrepreneurs, as Zambians?
I think it's great. Like you've said, I've seen a lot of increase in physical activity opportunities in Zambia. Lots of clubs doing all sorts of things, which is fantastic. But people who really want to get fit and take care of their body or lose weight, it's 80% what you eat and 20% kind of the exercise, So
okay.
And that's kind of what people forget. They think, well, if I just exercise, it doesn't matter what I eat or drink or, I'll exercise my way out of it. It does not work like that. You have to look at what you're eating as well. Exercise, super important, but you've got to take a look at the diet as well.
The diet.
So you can have like a very skinny person who looks fit, but internally, if you take a look at their organs, their tissues, they're highly acidic, and when they get older, they're most certainly going to suffer from some kind of chronic illness.
Yeah. And with regards to manufacturing, because like in Africa, there's about 15% of the world's population, but we have more chronic diseases here, e.g. HIV, Ebola, and we tend to import a lot of drugs that come in versus just making them. Why do you think that's so?
Ooh, I don't really know, to be honest. Maybe I have no idea. I mean, for instance, with pharmaceutical drugs, to produce a pharmaceutical drug, it's not something you just do overnight. There's years and years of research. It costs a ton of money, all the trials on human trials that they have to do. So it's only these huge pharmaceutical companies probably that can afford that, So I don't think there's a surprise that we don't see more of it, say, in Zambia. But, there are a few small manufacturers who are producing cough medicines and so on, which is great. From an Umoyo point of view, we buy from a wide selection of suppliers. We probably have over 100 suppliers that we get products from. But what we've noticed for things that we sell a lot of, we have really worked hard on developing the Umoyo brand. We spent a lot of time and effort around that to get people to trust the Umoyo brand. So what we do for products that we sell a lot of, say, coconut oil, for instance, instead of buying from a supplier in South Africa who's imported coconut oil from somewhere and then packaged it, we've gone out and sourced some of the best coconut oil in the world, which took us to India. And now we import that in bulk and package it under our Umoyo label. So we're trying to get good quality products at a better price by ourselves importing it in bulk and then putting it under our own label.
Kim, you mentioned that there's a lot of fitness clubs being set up across the country, actually, and that's 20% of what people need to do. 80% is what they eat. Do you, as Umoyo, now see an opportunity there to really target and zero in on those people that are changing their lifestyles, but perhaps not changing what they're eating? Are you reaching out to companies, bigger companies that are really, into fitness and encouraging their employees to be, to live a healthier lifestyle, targeting them to say, yeah, the exercise is good, but you also need to watch what you eat?
Yeah. The problem is everybody thinks they know exactly what they need to eat, and a lot of people don't feel they need any advice at all. We started with, that's how I started. That's what I was doing with opening the clinic. That was the whole premises behind it. And now, actually, recently, just less than a month ago, we closed the main Umoyo clinic and are now having mini clinics in some of our retail outlets. So if someone has a question about their chronic illnesses or what they should be eating or how they are going to lose weight, whatever, we refer them to one of these mini clinics in one of our retail shops. So we have one at Woodlands and we have one at the Mukuba branch in Kitwe. So we do that. For corporates, we offer health talks. We've done a lot of health talks at some of the big corporates, and we come in and do what we call quick health checks. So we take people's height, weight, do their BMI, their blood pressure, blood sugar, those simple tests that we can do. So yes, we do that. But to convince people that they need to change their diet, it's not something you can just tell someone this would be good for you. It has to come from them, because it's not easy. There's a lot of inertia when you try and change your diet. So you really have to want to. So we can show them the way, we can give them all the information, but then it's up to the person to make those changes. So we're there really as that lighthouse showing the way.
Yeah. Another thing I'd want you to touch on is healthcare insurance, because I know you're working with insurance companies. Like in Zambia, a lot of people would rather just pay. They usually just you need money to go to the clinic, you need money to buy pills, versus having health insurance. Do you think health insurance is beneficial for one to have?
Yes, I understand it depends obviously how much money and how much disposable income you have and so on, but yes, I would say it's good to plan ahead. So if something were to go wrong, you were to suffer from something, you are able to afford the treatment through insurance, but there's a lot you can do to prevent yourself from falling in as well. It's not something that you just sit and it's like a lottery. Some people will get ill and some don't, and there's nothing you can do about it. There's so much you can do to prevent, and it's so much easier to prevent illness than just getting ill and then trying to reverse it. That's the hard part, trying to reverse, and that takes a long time. So if people start looking after themselves now, it will go a long way and reduce on all the expenses in the future that they may have to spend on tests and medicines and so on.
And being as an entrepreneur, how do you go through moments of doubt? Because there are times where you have a great idea and then you start to backtrack yourself and think, maybe this won't work because of this, maybe it won't work because of this. How do you go through those moments?
I think that's the great thing about Zambia. I feel that we can try things here, and if it fails, it's okay, So you can do a bit of trial and error. One thing, though, I will say, since I started and where we are now in Zambia, the quality of service has improved dramatically. So if you are going to do something, you got to do it well. In the past, it didn't really matter so much because there wasn't much choice. Now people have choice. So if you're going to embark on something, make sure you put in every effort and get the quality of the service high, I think that is really important. But for me personally, if I think it's a good idea, I bounce it off a lot of people. I talk about it. I get feedback with other shareholders, also my staff and so on. And if we all kind of agree that, this could work, then we go for it. But then we go for it full force. We give it every opportunity. And if it fails, it fails, And if it doesn't, fantastic. But it's important that you first discuss it, and then when you do decide to do it, you give it all the opportunity to succeed.
150%.
Exactly. Yeah.
We'll take another break, Kim. When we come back, we can zero in on the health and wellness sector in Zambia and look at some of the opportunities that lie ahead.
The Startup Hour, giving entrepreneurs education, motivation, and inspiration from successful entrepreneurs from all corners of the country.
Gentlemen, there's only one place to get unrivaled coverage of the world's best leagues like the Premier League, La Liga, and UEFA Champions League. One place to witness the unbridled passion of the FA Cup, UEFA Europa League, English Football League Cup, the German Cup, and the Copa del Rey. There's only one place for unparalleled commentary and analysis from the undisputed pros themselves. SuperSport, the home of the world's best leagues and cup competitions, brings you the 2016-2017 football season live and in HD. This is football unmatched. SuperSport, your world of champions. Only on DSTV.
Who is the best? The Zambian Radio Awards 2016.
Check us out on Facebook, Zambian Radio Awards, or visit our website, ZambianRadioAwards.com, to find out the categories.
The Zambian Radio Awards 2016, celebrating Zambian radio.
It's time to upgrade your bus tires with Dunlop. The 195R15C tires have been priced to go at only 635 kwacha with free accidental damage warranty. This offer is only valid until the 21st of October. So visit Dunlop today at Dunlop Express, Mount Meru Filling Station, Lumumba Road, or Petroda Complex, Makishi Road, and Mount Meru SOS Service Station on the Great North Road. You can also visit the Dunlop Zone at Engine Filling Station, corner of Freedom Way and Benbella Road, Lusaka. Look out for our new branches at the airport roundabout and in Chilanga, opening at the end of September. Our business hours are now from 8 hours to 20 hours. Visit us today.
Great fashion and affordability has traveled a long way through Southern Africa and is now in Zambia. Fashion World Mandahil store reopens on Friday, 16th September. Big, 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 big! Yes! With a bigger store comes a wider range of goods. Get ready for great sales on ladies and kids items like dresses and pumps as low as 59 kwacha, 95 ngwe. We also offer lay-by on all items. Come through this Christmas for lay-by promotion on all kiddies items, only at 30% down payment. Kidjo residents, take advantage of our newly opened store at Yemba Moore Town Center. Visit our Fashion World outlets in Lusaka for more in-store promotions on Cairo Road or Cosmopolitan Mall. And Solwezi outlet, we are open weekdays and weekends. For more details, call 0968 861684 or 0211 256509. Clump up the less. Hot fashion, best prices. Fashion World, the smart way to dress for less.
Looking at your furniture and thinking it's time for a makeover? Fernmart has you covered. With Fernmart's birthday sale, you are guaranteed the best interest rates with no hidden costs. Cool off this summer with the Uber Evaporate Heater Cooler KYT12 for only 1,199 kwacha. You can also get the KIC Fridge Freezer for a deposit of 3,000 kwacha, followed by monthly installments of 477 kwacha by 12 months. Or you can skip the interest by paying your installments in 3 months. These prices are valid from the 19th of September to the 15th of October. So visit Fernmart today. Plot number 729, Shop 2, Benbella Road. Fernmart, lifestyle furniture at discount credit.
Lusaka's official new youth movement. It's on Power 99.7.
To advertise, call 0211 236 995.
Zambia's #1 youth radio. Yeah. Power 99.7.
Power 99.7 FM. Power 99.7. We are the voice of the youth in Zambia.
The Startup Hour, giving entrepreneurs education, motivation, and inspiration from successful entrepreneurs from all corners of the country.
Welcome back. Today on the Startup Hour, we discuss Zambia's healthcare opportunity with Kim Otteby, founder of Umoyo Natural Health Center. Kim, let's talk about some of the issues or challenges that are present in the health and wellness industry in Zambia. What are some of the biggest issues that you still face?
I think the main one within natural health is that, like I mentioned earlier, there's no institution really that where you can study naturopathy, where you can study natural medicine. Now, at least there's a nutrition course at UNZA that you can do, but that's about it. So that's one problem, that we don't have that yet in Zambia. We don't have that expertise within natural medicine yet. But otherwise, I don't think there are any other major issues. I mean, running a business within health and wellness sector in Zambia is, I think, you face the same problems as running a business in any other sector. Yeah.
Do you see, if we expanded on the course that is currently present at UNZA, do you see maybe an opportunity there to create or to train more doctors in a specialized field?
Well,
if we look at the bigger picture of job creation in Zambia.
Well, I think your typical allopathic doctor is trained within his field, allopathy, whereas a naturopathic doctor would have to train and understand pharmacology and all of that, but then also train in all the natural medical disciplines, So if you go to Europe or America, you would choose whether you see a normal doctor or a naturopathic doctor. Whether Zambia is ready for that, I'm not so sure, to be honest. So I think it'll be a long time coming before we have an institution that trains naturopathic doctors here. I think that will take a lot of time.
Because we're still dealing with just the basics.
Well, it's not only that. You have to. There's not enough institutions either to where are these naturopathic doctors going to work, and then people aren't fully aware what a naturopathic doctor is. It's difficult to attract clients. Running the Umoyo Clinic, it ain't easy getting clients. It's a constant thing that we're working on to give people awareness of what we're trying to do, and so that they don't just think of us as herbalists and so on, I think the market at the moment is a bit too small.
Opportunities that are there in the industry. How do you see the industry 5-10 years from now?
Well, I think people are, like we mentioned earlier, are becoming much more interested in natural health. How can I take care of myself? What should I be eating? And so on. People are starting to ask a lot of questions, taking an interest, which is fantastic. So I think within the retail sector, there will be lots of opportunities, and that opportunity will grow for sure. And then, maybe with health practitioners working one-on-one with people as well to give them extra advice. I think there will be opportunities there also.
Have you seen an issue with perhaps, like you mentioned, when you went to one of the malls and someone had already taken up your spot? Are you finding challenges in that maybe there's other operators that are coming from outside of Zambia to set up health and wellness outfits?
Not really, because this is a small industry in Zambia, So if you have a serious investor, I doubt they would choose to set up a health shop. I don't think that's what they would choose to do. They're going to go for mining or construction or road building or something. So it's more local players that we're seeing coming onto the market, but nobody's really doing what Umoyo's doing. There's a lot of multi-level marketing companies, so things like Herbalife, Tianxi, those kind of companies, where it's more not so much having a shop perhaps, but it's more direct selling, What we're trying to do, and it's just lay people selling from, to their friends and so on. What we're trying to do at Umoyo is that we source very widely. We have a very wide selection of products, so we're not just selling one brand. It's a wide selection, so people have choice. There are different prices, so you can buy a cheaper one, you can buy a more expensive one, depending on your budget. And then also we have staff who know what they're recommending, so you can ask questions and get good answers of what to find the right product specifically for you. We do weekly trainings with all our staff on specific products so that they really know about what they are selling.
Let's talk quickly about sourcing local raw materials. Have you reached a stage where perhaps you're dealing directly with farmers for certain produce that they're able to produce for you to use as Umoyo? And I have in mind that moringa that's readily available, I think, in the Chisamba area and whatnot.
No, like I was saying actually earlier to your co-host here, before when we started, I had to go out and find these suppliers. They didn't know who I was or what Umoyo was. Now, people know Umoyo more and more. So every week we have lots of people coming to our office presenting products or produce that they want to sell. So that's wonderful. So we get to choose from a much wider selection. So I think I have at least 1 or 2 moringa suppliers that come looking for a market every week. There's a lot of moringa out there that people are producing now. Yes.
And before I let the Mwape come in, what are the health benefits of moringa? Because it's a subject or a word that seems to come up a lot in discussions of health around, well, at least around my circles. It's like, oh, moringa's awesome. Moringa's like the new thing. What are the health benefits of moringa?
So the reason moringa is so good for you, it's because of its nutritional content. So it's not a medicine that targets any specific illness like herbal medicine. It's not a herbal medicine as such. It is a nutritional medicine or a nutritional supplement. So you can think of it as a superfood. So if with this superfood, it has super quality. So it has lots of minerals, a wide selection of minerals and vitamins and phytonutrients or plant nutrients, many of which are antioxidants, which help protect your body and heal your body. And that is why it's recommended for practically whatever illness you have, or even if you're not ill, it's recommended because it boosts your overall nutrition. So for instance, your immune system, if you're lacking just 1 or 2 minerals, it's going to affect your immune system. So of course, if I supplement with a nutritional supplement that has all this goodness in it, it's going to boost your immune system overall. That's why moringa is so good. It's a nutritional supplement, and that's why it's so safe for anyone to take, even young kids.
Well, why is it we're only talking about it now? Why is the name moringa, been like on everyone's mouth like the last couple of years, and when it's been around for like Lord knows when?
Yeah, very good question. Hey, I don't think it's not indigenous to Zambia. Mm-hmm. So, for instance, in India, it's been used for thousands of years, but because we're kind of on the same level latitude-wise, it grows extremely well here. So I think it hasn't been grown in the past so much. I think now is the time where people are also putting in plantations, like you said, in Chisamba. There's a huge plantation there. And also, I think on the world market now, people are clued up to it. So there's a world demand. And Zambia, I believe, is now even exporting moringa.
Yeah, just to touch on branding a bit, I've noticed, because now Umoyo is like a huge brand, like green and white. Everywhere you could, like green, white, orange. That's Umoyo. Yeah, that's Umoyo. It's just passing through arcades. They're like, boom, Umoyo. Yeah. How important is it to build a brand? And does your brand have a personality of its own, or is it Kim? Is Kim Umoyo?
No. I've tried to distance myself from the brand as much as possible. I'm doing that more and more now. But we've spent so much time developing the brand, thinking about the brand, how do we want it to be? And I have kind of vision in my head, and I've tried to stay true to that throughout this process. And I'm so glad that we did that, because now we're in a situation, if we have, say, moringa, Umoyo branded moringa sitting on the shelf next to another brand of moringa, the Umoyo one sells better because people trust the brand. So we've tried to equate the brand with quality. Yeah, so that has been a very big thing for us.
And also the biggest issue that comes around entrepreneurship, ndalama, money,
yes.
Financing.
Yeah.
Yes. How does one go about getting financing? Do you just start with whatever you have, or is it also important to bring on other people?
For me personally, I started with what I had, and I started very, very small, and the organization has grown organically throughout the years. And for me, it was the best thing because it allowed me a chance to grow. Because when I started, I didn't know anything about business. So I've had to learn as I went along. So if you had thrown me into what Umoyo is today, I would have sunk. I wouldn't have had a clue how to manage it or go about it. But because it's grown gradually, I've had a chance to grow with it and learn with it. Learn how to manage people, manage cash flow, all the controls, put them in place, and so on and so on. You know, everything that comes with managing a business. So for us, it was a very good thing that we grew organically. But yes, now when we're expanding everything, it's incredible how much money it actually takes to expand. But that's also why I think it's important that you have a very solid business, very solid base before you start expanding, so that you can fall back on that. Because cash flow, it does become tight, for sure. It's something you have to pay attention to every single day.
Yeah.
Kim, how important, I want to take you back to the issue of branding. How important is it to create a brand that is sustainable? And how do you go about doing that? For a young entrepreneur that's listening, that's ready to go to Parkway today and has a bit of capital, how important is it? How do you go about creating a brand that is sustainable?
Yeah, I'm certainly no expert when it comes to branding. It was more that I had this vision for Umoyo, and I knew what we wanted to stand for, and I saw it all, And actually, when I was transitioning, when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, I did 6 months of graphic design. So in the beginning, I actually created that logo, and in the beginning, I did all my brochures myself. They are not fantastic by any means, but I had a bit of knowledge with that. I don't quite know how to answer that question. I think it's important that maybe someone also touches base with someone who is that way inclined and who knows a bit more about branding, and because a brand, it's not just the logo. It's so much more than that. Like you mentioned, the personality of the brand. What is it you're bringing forward? One thing that has helped me, I think, is being very consistent. You mentioned the white and the green. Whatever we do, it's a white background and have a very strong green or a bit of orange. So it's very clean, very clear. And that is something that we've just maintained, in all our marketing materials. We've stayed true to that. We haven't changed. So now it's very well recognized by people. So I think you first need to figure out what it is your brand is, what it stands for, what are the qualities around it. You need to really think about this. It just can't happen. You need to sit down and think about that, and then figure out, how am I now going to communicate these qualities? And if you're struggling with that, then seek help.
Startup Hour Challenge.
Ready for the Startup Hour Challenge?
Yes! This is my favorite part of the show.
Okay, I'm not quite sure what this is.
So, we have the Startup Hour Challenge. You're expected to answer with the first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay.
Yes, the first thing that just pops into your mind. Let us know.
I'll take on the challenge.
Okay. Which of your 5 senses would you keep if you could only keep one?
Oh, that's so difficult, but eyes, I think.
Okay.
My sight.
Who makes you laugh more than anyone?
One of my girls, my daughters.
Mm-hmm. If you were on death row, what would your final meal be?
Ooh, strawberries and cream.
What is or was your best subject in school?
Math.
If you had 2 hours left on Earth, what would you do with them?
I would be out in nature, maybe on a beach.
What is the worst advice you ever received?
Ooh. I don't know. Worst advice. I'm sorry, I have no idea.
Come on, Kim, there has to be one.
Worst advice.
Single out.
I can't think of anything.
All right, we'll pass. If you could have dinner with any one person, living or dead, who would they be?
Who would they be? Ooh, I can't help myself. Leonardo DiCaprio.
Nice one. What's the best sound in the world?
The best sound? I think it's nature in the morning with the birds chirping.
That's what Angelica said.
Oh, really?
Yes. What book has influenced you the most?
Oh, that's tough, hey? That's tough. But one book that really stands out for me, it was called The Prize. It's about the oil industry. Yeah.
Elaborate a bit.
It's like way thick, but very interesting about how these big oil companies started. So like Shell and British Petroleum. Very interesting.
Amazing. What animal best represents you?
And why?
Wow.
Clock's ticking.
Oh my, I don't know, hey? The first animal that comes into my head is a cat, but I'm not sure why.
Okay, we'll take that.
I take things in my stride, I guess, and I know how to relax when I need to.
Oh, cool. Final one. What advice would you give your younger self?
I think it would be don't worry about what other people think of you.
Awesome.
And just to wind up, what advice would you give our listeners, the Zambian youth that are listening, that are probably thinking about starting a business, particularly maybe even in the health industry?
I would say, success does not happen overnight. It takes hard work. You got to be dedicated, and you got to really believe in what you're doing, because when times get tough, you're going to have to answer the question of why. Like, why am I doing this? And if you don't have a good answer for that, you're just going to quit. So when I started Umoyo, I thought I knew what hard work was, and I'm not scared of hard work. I'm willing to put in the hours, but I had no idea what was in store. So, you just got to be dedicated and keep on going. Be patient. It takes time.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for tuning into the Startup Hour Show, Kim. It's been an informative and insightful session all rolled into one.
Thank you so much.
Thank you indeed. Catch us again next week, same time, same day, as we bring you more influential business and thought leaders. Be inspired, and remember, the only person responsible for Zambia's development is you. So what are you doing about it?
This has been Startup Hour, bringing successful Zambian entrepreneurs, policymakers, and subject experts to share their stories. Startup Hour, in association with Power FM.
Power FM broadcast to Lusaka and Central Provinces. Advertise with us now.
The Zambian Lotto jackpot now stands at a whopping 1,924,800 kwacha. What? 1,924,800 kwacha. What can you do with this kind of money? Visit our local agent kiosk to get your Lotto ticket and play it. You could be the freshest millionaire in town. Follow the draws on ZNBC TV every Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 21:30 hours. Zambian Lotto. Don't just dream it, play it.
Zambian Lotto. Don't just dream it, play it.
Lunch just earned its royal status. Buy any pizza from Food Palace Cairo Road and get a small one absolutely free. Choose from our range of tasty barbecue steak, 4 seasons, chicken and mushroom, and vegetarian pizzas. 35 kwacha will get you a small pizza, 45 kwacha medium, and 65 kwacha for the large pizza. And remember, with every pizza you buy, we give you one small one on the house every Wednesday and Friday. But wait, that's not all. Buy one shawarma and get one mahala along with the Pepsi every Tuesday. And buy 2 pieces of chicken and chips with salad for only 26 kwacha every Thursday at Food Palace Cairo Road and Long Acres. Lunch just earned its royal status, y'all, at Food Palace, where the taste lasts forever.
Energy of the mind and body is the essence of life. Life decides how you're going to